Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. And today I have Zach Kracht, founder of Photo Mules, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his business, his journey to business ownership, best practices he's learned along the way, as well as challenges that he may have faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to run and operate a business. If this is your first time on our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notified when we drop episodes like this. Welcome, Zach. It's so great to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, before we dive into all things business, share a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So my name is Zach Kracht. I've lived in Austin for about 6 years. I grew up in Philadelphia and went to school in North Carolina. After school, I took a road trip across the country and ended up here in Central Texas and loving it ever since.
Oh, what a cool story. I love to hear how people make their way to Austin.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so you've been here for 6 years. Let's dive in. Tell me about the photography business. How did you get started doing that?
Absolutely. So when I was in college, my parents said I needed to get a job. So I hopped on Craigslist and found a job. And it was doing very similar style business for someone else. I did that since I was 18 all the way till after college. And then that gentleman stepped out of the business. I bought some of his equipment and moved to Austin and started up on my own, is the short version. But yeah, I've been in the youth sports photography business for about 10 years now, and I've gone to thousands of events, or a team has at least, and it's been a fun journey.
Oh, that's incredible. So now do you shoot for one team specifically or a variety of teams?
No, so our clients are tournament directors. So we work with some of the largest soccer, baseball, and softball tournaments across the nation. We have multiple teams that go out each week to cover these events, anywhere from 50 teams all the way up to 700 teams.
Oh, okay. So you meant team as in the business team, not the sport.
Yes,
Okay.
our
Because I
teams.
was like, okay, we've got two things going on here.
Yep, no worries.
Awesome. Okay, so let's dive in a little deeper.
Sure.
Kind of like what's your why? Like how did you so was it a sports photography business you worked for previously and that's how you got into continuing that?
Yes.
Okay, incredible. So tell me about your team. I'd love to learn about that. How many team members do you have and what are some of the roles that your team members have?
Yeah. We have about 50-ish people in our organization. We have our team member who are photographers and salespeople. They're on the ground every weekend, talking to the parents, taking photos, working with the teams. We have our site leaders, and then we have our district managers. And we have a small back office, myself and maybe one or two other people that help with hiring, administration, business development, all the other things. But majority of our organization is front facing and working with the customers on a day-to-day basis. We're only a weekend business for the most part. So, the tournaments for the kids on the weekends, they have school during the week. And, it's fun. It's fun to be able to get out in the sun with our team and spend time with these kids. It's really special.
Oh, that's super cool. I absolutely love this. And so you're working with your team now, and you have about 50 members total. Are you looking to, would you say, grow your team, sustain your team, or how do you see the business kind of growing here in the near future?
Yeah, we're definitely growing. We kind of double every 2 years. So it's been fun to learn the ups and downs of all that. But yes, we're still growing and planning to grow some more.
Oh, wonderful. Well, now you talked a little bit about a sales team. I'd love to learn about the marketing behind your business. What does that look like? How do you find your ideal clients and who is your ideal client?
Absolutely. So there's two different sales processes that happen in our business. We, one, sell our services to the event host. So we'll get exclusive contracts to be at these events. And then the second part is where the actual money comes from, is selling directly to these parents. So our ideal clients are parents of kids who attend these tournaments, or fans, grandparents, whoever's, wants photos of their grandchildren, nieces, nephews, daughters. And that's really who it is. Someone who appreciates our work. We're all of our work is printed, so we print all of our products on site so the fans can take the photos home the same day.
Oh, that's very cool. Like that would be so much fun for a parent or grandparent, especially, and to keep those memories alive.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, looking at, what you're doing right now, where do you see your company going in the next 3 to 5 years?
I would say right now we have three different, we call them districts, but you can call them territories all throughout the southern US. We have Arizona, Texas, and South Carolina. I would say next 3 to 5 years, we want to add 2 to 3 more districts, Northeast, maybe Florida, and maybe a Midwest area, and really just to get more coverage. Our team is doing well with the areas we have, but we'd love to get into new markets. So I would say we're going to keep growing and see where that takes us.
Oh, definitely. I dig that too. And now thinking about, let's like take it back to when you first started. I love to share a kind of a milestone story of something maybe a challenge you were faced with while you were, in those first few years of business. What is something that you were faced with and how did you overcome
Oh man, there's too many to count.
it? Entrepreneur's life.
Big roller coaster. I would say one of the bigger realizations that I've had was that we're not in the photography business, we're in the logistics business. So, I've always thought, oh, we're photography business, but we're really not. We're really, how do we get our trained people to these locations and be able to logistically cover 3, 4, 500 teams in 2 days?
Hmm.
So once I started thinking, changing my mindset with that, that really opened up a lot of opportunities for us. For example, we used to use all paper order forms for all of our orders. So it would be fine when we had 25, 30, 50 order forms, but we went to an event with 500 teams and we had a stack of paper about this thick. And it was awful. I'm trying to find like, hey, I placed my order, and then it's like just shifting through, a bunch of papers to not find someone's order. And we had angry parents, and, it was a big problem at the end of the day. So I think changing our mindset of like, what kind of business are we truly are has helped us solve a lot of problems and overcome them.
Definitely. So what are some of the systems and processes that you've implemented to help resolve some of those pain points?
Yes. So we have built our own software the past since 2021, so about 4 years. It's pretty much like there's out of the box software and pieces of paper, and we pretty much made our own point of sale, project management system for on-site. So our staff can have a much easier time and understanding of like, hey, they need to be at this location at this time, and these are assignments and tasks. So we built that automation that parents get text when their photos are ready for pickup, and just really eliminated a lot of mistakes that we saw over the years. And we're still building it, but it's been a fun process to change the on-site experience from taking a couple hours to a day to get their photos to maybe 10, 20 minutes. So it's been huge that way.
Oh, that's very cool. Well, I'm curious about kind of like some of the hardware that you have on site. Do you bring like a printer or is it some sort of like a photo printer?
Yeah, we
Oh,
bring a bunch of printers
okay.
typically, but yeah, we'll set up a tent. We have a trailer,
Mm,
a couple tables, but yeah, we'll bring anywhere from 1 to 5 plus printers, and those printers will print out our samples and additionally any orders that we fulfill on site. I would say that we're 98% fulfilled on site. We do have some online orders, but for the most part, we're in person. For the first 2 years of this business, we never even had a website. It's all been in-person sales.
hmm. Oh, that's incredible too. Just hearing about the pop-up, model and how you're going in there. And now, do you work with stadiums and folks as well to kind of get that set up, or how does that look like?
Yeah, so we got an exclusive contract with either the term host or sometimes the owner of a facility. We
Mhm.
don't work with the tournament host, but it's not necessarily stadiums, but whoever's willing to work with us who hosts big baseball and soccer tournaments, that's who we're trying to work with.
Amazing. Now, have you ran into any competitors, in the market? Because you had mentioned like you have like contracts with these places. So
Totally, totally.
how do you guys stay ahead of the game with your competitors?
I think the biggest thing is focus on a product and service for the customer and what's best for them. So what we have found is there's a lot of competitors in the soccer world who don't print their photos on site. They will take orders at the event with a sample and then ship them out anywhere from 1 week to 6 weeks later, depending on the mail. And for us, we're like, why wouldn't it better if we just fulfilled it the same day? So that's kind of our biggest selling point is like, hey, we're able to go to these same tournaments, offer a better service. Why would you not want to go with that at the end of the day? So that's kind of our biggest selling point with that. There's some other differential services that our competitors offer that might be a better fit for different style tournaments or sports. So we really wanted to niche down into the soccer and baseball, and we'll be the best at that. And then if there's other products that are better for other sports, we'll let other people do that.
Oh, you touched on two things that really stood out to me there. One is like a golden nugget of, really focusing on your customers' needs and giving that like quick service, like they can get it on site. And for the second thing, what a cool kind of memory or takeaway for their kids and the families. I always think of, one time I went to Vegas and I went to one of the shows where they had a photographer there where you could get a show with your friends and there is something really special about that. So I think you got something really going for you there for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And now I'd like to, dive into I like to show transparency with our listeners. A lot of our listeners are entrepreneurs who are going through the trenches too. They're trying to build, they're trying to grow. So I love to share a challenge you're maybe faced with currently and how you're working through it and how what would be a good source of help for that. So what is something you're challenged with currently in business?
One's kind of a two-parter. So something I think I'm almost done solving, but I don't want to say I am because it probably won't be. We have gone through pay comp restructuring the past. We've done it every year for the past few years, but we just did a really big one where we did 3 different comps over the past 4 months, and we got it wrong the first 2 or 3 times. So that was a big challenge of like dragging all my staff through that. Trying out this thing didn't work, trying another thing didn't work, and I think we finally solved it. So I would say that was a challenge. There still is a challenge. That's like, we think we solved it as of like 2 weeks ago, so it's kind of still fresh. There still could be problems, still could be adjustments, but I would say, yeah, that's a big challenge, is giving the right comp plan that's a win-win for both employees and the employer. I would say it's something that we really dive into of like, hey, how can we set it up where instead of you're paid by hour, how can we incentivize you to maximize your efficiency where these limited amount of event hours we have? So if we only have 20 hours a week to do sales and 98% of our sales happen those 20 hours, how do we ensure that those 20 hours are fulfilled the best they can with each staff members? And how do we give them the tools to make that happen, either software or hardware? So yeah, that's kind of the overall arching problem with this business in general. But I was thinking, the pay comp of like, hey, how do we incentivize you to maximize those 20 hours and give it your all each and every week?
Oh, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. I was actually just thinking about this very topic earlier today. It popped in my head when I was thinking about business growth. And it was very much along the lines of, people paid per hour versus paid per project. And really, yes, creating a good sense of like a motivation or incentivize for that. So, what are some of the things that you're finding success with that? And are there things that are still kind of giving you that hiccup?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of success we found is giving one clear number for everyone to focus on. So we've had, sales number of photos taken. We've given people in their dashboard like 10 plus numbers to look at. And the number we decided on, hey, what is their revenue per hour worked? That's the number one, metric we want everyone to focus on, is like, okay, for every hour we're working, what is the average over the past day, or 10, 20 hours at work? So the higher that is, the more money they make at the end of the day. So that's kind of our North Star, I like to call it. So that's the answer.
Nice. So I'm now if I'm visioning kind of like what an employee would be doing, would they be, say, on the ground at the game and they're reaching out to parents as the kids are playing or and then
No, so
or
what they're doing is, we'll go to a soccer tournament, say, and there's 10 fields running. So
Mm.
before the game, the kids are warming up. Our team will go out there, take a team photo of the team that's warming up. They'll come back to we'll grab like 3 or 4, maybe 6 photos at a time, come back to our tent, edit the photos, print up a sample, then they'll go right back to the sidelines and show the sample to the parents. And from there, they're doing the sales process with the parents, saying, "Hey, these are our photos we have. We need to place an order. Okay, great. You can pick them up over here after your game." So the whole goal is before the game, the photos are taken, and then the photos are delivered once the game's over. So it's a kind of a 1 hour turnaround from the time they take the photo to the gets delivered.
Oh, that's very cool. So you have like a product in hand before you reach to the parents. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very cool. Well, thank you for like kind of painting that picture for me so I can visualize, oh, this is what's going on in your business. Again, this has been such a fun conversation, and now I want to dive into a part of the Q&A called our rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Zach, this is where you're going to answer 4 questions very top of mind.
Okay.
All right. Question number one is, now I sound like I'm at a sports game. It is, what is a key to success for you?
Patience, I would say. It's you want things to go faster, but at the end of the day, it's really about you're going to get there eventually. So you have to be patient with it and enjoy the journey.
That's a good one. And number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Oh, I can't use number one. So I will say get expert help and don't be afraid to pay for it. You can't be the expert at everything. So if there's something that you're struggling with, ask for help and, pay money for that. Don't be cheap on it because it could take you to the next level a lot faster than you could do it on your own.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad you touched on that, especially here at Action Coach. We're such believers of that being such a help for entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for that. Number three is, it could be either a book, a podcast, an article, something that has resonated with you most recently.
Mm, Podcasts, I'm gonna go with Layla Hormozi's podcast. I pretty much listen to that all the time and her advice just on how to manage people. I have a big people organization, so I think that's kind of where my head lives most of the time. Being able to spread that advice and even send a lot of the podcasts to my team. They really enjoy it and helps them with it, growing their leadership skills.
Oh, definitely. I'm a huge fan of the Hormozis as well. So kudos on that. And the final question is, if you could wave a magic wand and overnight change one aspect of your business for the better, what would it be?
I would love to be able to employ people more in a full-time manner. One of our biggest struggles is it's part-time work for the majority of our workers, so they have to balance school or other jobs or other gigs. And I would love to be able just to employ people more in a full-time manner. So that is what's a big challenge for our staffing.
Oh, definitely. Well, thank you for sharing those rapid fire questions. Before we get to our final question of the day, how can people connect with you and your business online?
Yeah, it's photomules.com or photomules on Instagram. It's probably where we're most active, or you LinkedIn as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And, Zach, for the final question today, what is most inspiring to you today?
I would just say what's most inspiring to me and what kind of pushes me into this business 10 years in is just knowing that there's a better version out there. I love seeing myself grow, my team grow, but also just the product and surface we are developing. It's amazing. I When I first started, I saw a lot of companies doing the wrong way to do this business, and it inspires me to do it the right way and delivering product first for these customers. So that's what inspires me.
Well, that was inspiring to me and as well as all of our listeners. Anyone out there listening or watching this, just definitely take a pass through this a couple times. There were so many golden nuggets that Zach had to say about business ownership. And so, again, Zach, thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.